Today we're installing a wood-burning stove.
Hey everyone, so today we are going to share how we installed our wood stove, our fireplace and hearth here, and go step by step. And it was definitely not the easiest job that I've done here on the homestead, but it was doable. It worked out okay. As you can see, there's still some aesthetic things to do here. We've still got a mantle to put on and everything, but we got it installed and we just wanted to fire it up and make sure it was working. And it looks like it's working properly. So yeah, stay tuned and we will go step by step.
Okay, so to get started, you'll see we put a black liner paper over the existing wood floors. Down the road, if this thing ever gets torn out, the wood floors will still be usable underneath. And we went ahead and put our perimeter bricks in first. And I went ahead and laid everything out. I suggest doing that if it's your first time working with brick, as this was for me. Mix small amounts of mortar and just kind of get a feel for it, and get everything laid out and make sure everything finishes off where you want it to finish off on the end of your walls. And then I do suggest the same if you have angle cuts, especially. You're going to want to make sure you've got all those bricks laid out before you set them into the mortar, and make sure you don't get to the end of your project and run short or have a gap that you can't offset and make work. So after we got our base in, we went ahead and started our walls. Again, lay out all your bricks and make sure your spacing is good and that you terminate your walls where they want to terminate at the end. And then once you get your mortar mixes figured out and your bricks all laid out, it kind of goes pretty quick. You'll see here, once I got going, the walls went up fairly quickly, and we wanted an old world kind of washed out look, so I just kind of took the excess mortar off and sponged with a really dry sponge, just a little bit, or damp sponge rather, not too much water. And then after everything was done and dried, we took an acid wash, basically vinegar and water, and sponged it down a couple of times to get rid of that excess lime. And at the end of it all, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. It was definitely a learning curve. And make sure you've got your levels and your squares and keep everything level and square as you go. And have fun with it. You've got a miter saw laying around. I had an old grinder blade, diamond for a 7-inch grinder. Instead of going out and buying a 10-inch or 12-inch blade for this saw, I just went ahead and put this on there. Worked pretty good. I had to block it up a bit, but cuts them nice and smooth. So I'm excited to be able to get my angle cuts nice and straight, hopefully. Safety first.
We got our hearth and fireplace all done. I got my wood stove in place, and I ran my pipe to find my center. And tomorrow I will bust a hole through there about 10 inches round and assemble the rest of my wood stove and my chimney. And we are cooking with fire.
The day's upon us. I'm gonna punch a hole through my wall. Super nervous and excited at the same time, so all kinds of emotions. I've laid out my stove and my pipes, so I know where my center is. I'm going to push a pilot hole in, a smaller hole, so I'm not trying to go through the wall or hold this thing steady until I'm in, so I'm going to go in as deep as I can with the shorter bit. And then I got to punch through about 6 inches of concrete and then the siding on the outside. So once I have my center hole, then I can go outside and measure off my 10¼ inch markings and start punching away the concrete and hopefully get a hole in here by tonight. expected. Let's hope there's nothing in there that's gonna make this process more difficult. I can't smile through this, man. I'm sorry. This is really upsetting me. Are you recording already? Okay. So, not a very ideal situation here. We thought we had concrete brick from the old fireplace here, which we do have some left on the other side of this wall here. But yeah, this house was built in 1946. So what we're dealing with is the old wood slatting and, a stud here that I'm going to have to try and shift around now. So yeah, we're back to the drawing board and, figuring out how to get our stovepipe through this wall here, safely and within code. These are combustibles, so we're going to have to make sure now that our opening is wide enough to accommodate the code for our area as far as distance to combustibles and our chimney pipes and such. Also, I don't want to have to necessarily cut into this stud. And we're back to the drawing board. This is what I'm dealing with from the inside. 3/8 drywall. Looks like 1/2 inch or so cement board. And then some kind of 3/4 inch tongue and groove that they must have laminated over the old plaster. From the outside, 2 inches of rigid foam wrapped in mylar on both sides, or foil on both sides. The old 1946 3/4 inch tongue and groove siding. And then on the inside, we have another layer of 3/4 inch tongue and groove with the cement board and drywall on top of that. So yeah, good times. It's going to take me a while. Sorry. Oh yeah, and then the old let's insulate the house with what we got on the farm. Wood chips. I will not be putting these back in there. They will be getting cleaned out and replaced with conventional insulation. Stay tuned.
Unfortunately, we could not do stud reading because of the overlap of sheetrock and concrete board on both the inside and the outside, and the insulation with the foil backing. Anyway, we could not find our studs. So we had to rip in around the center. We did find a stud. So I was able to go back to the studs on either side of our hole, which is represented here. And now I can build in horizontal and vertical supports and supports on either side of my opening as per the specifications for our manufacturer's installations. You're going to want to make sure you open up to the inside of both your studs. And for our install, we need a 14 by 14 opening. So I'm going to set a header here and a sill, or just horizontal, and then they need to be supported. So I'll have support here and support down inside here. I've removed the old cedar insulation. I think there's some down in there somewhere, a little bit. Yeah, so we've removed this. I'm going to replace that with traditional insulation, and just make sure you've got that good and packed up in there, and replace any void that you had to remove. And then, then we're good to go. We're set up. For combustibles, you need that 14 by 14. So if it was concrete, we wouldn't need it to be quite as wide. But we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so I got my header in. I went ahead and did a double. You don't necessarily have to do that. All depends on how secure you want it to be from above, how many levels you have above you. And yep, now I've got my my sleeve here that the chimney will tie into, and now I know where I can put my side supports to make sure that they are clear, and yeah, we're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those fastened in, get this fastened in first, and then get these in place, and then we'll assemble everything and tie it in from the outside.
Okay, so we're looking at getting the chimney portion of our wood stove installed. This is what I needed, is some slotted steel angle. And yeah, I'm about an hour outside the city and on a shoestring budget here. So I went ahead and just built it out of some exterior grade 2x6 that'll get mounted onto the to the wall. And this rig will allow the vertical portion of the chimney, which this has to support, to come out past my soffit and gutters on the outside of the house. All right, we've got our exterior thimble and our interior thimble connected in. I've got my chimney support mounted and in place. Weight checked. I put my full weight at 220 pounds. It didn't even budge, so I'm good with that. We're using a Duravent kind of chimney kit here. I'm just going to put it together the way the manufacturer recommends. I've got my my horizontal chimney and my T. And it did come with these handy little arrows that show me which way goes where. So just make sure you follow your directions. And we're going to get this in here. And then I've got to get my chimney in place. And then I can get everything situated. I've got to go grab my chimney piece now. Okay, so we needed 2 sets of hands to do this. I've got my horizontal support. So the rule is 1/4 inch of rise per foot. I've got 24 inches here of horizontal chimney. So we pushed it up about 1/2 inch so that you have a little bit of an incline. You don't want a decline on your horizontals. So yeah, we've got that in place, and now we're going to go inside and tie in the chimney to the top of the stove. All right, well, we didn't pack it because we just wanted to run it and see it, make sure it works. So we just got a few logs in there right now, but it seems to be running okay. Yeah, it looks like it's drafting all right. And yeah, we're super happy with it, putting off a good amount of heat. We got our heat-powered fan here fired up right away. So yeah, so far so good. Super happy to see how this thing works going into the deep winter and when it gets really cold. In the next few weeks, we're supposed to see some pretty frigid temperatures. So thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, throw them down in the comments there and we'll help out wherever we can. This was my first time, so go easy. I'm not a carpenter or a bricklayer or a wood stove installer. I just know how to follow directions. So yeah, yeah, thanks again.